Start out, first of all, I just want to thank all the folks from the Bobby Dodd Committee being here last evening and today. They really hosted a very nice event last night. And on one hand, it's a little bit uncomfortable in the sense that, we spent the last 3.5 months trying to encourage our guys to move forward and focus on the 2016 season. So to step back and reflect on last year is a little bit uncomfortable on one hand, but it's really amazing, the group of folks that came up, 20 plus people, a couple of former players of Coach Dodd's, and just to hear the comments they made last night was really a really special night for all of us. So I'm very appreciative of them coming up here, their efforts, and what that award means. And as I've said before, any award like that is certainly a team award. So the credit goes to our 2015 team, the coaching staff. Everybody did a wonderful job. So very appreciative of that. And then also the fans today. We had a nice crowd. I think it was about 18,500 they estimated, and a good crowd of folks out there. So it's a nice way for our players to have a chance to finish up and wrap up on spring practice. As I said back in January, with us, it's always a fine line, winning and losing. I think that's pretty true just about anywhere you are, and certainly in Iowa that is the case. And every step we take is important, whether it's a strength conditioning period prior to spring ball, and then certainly this phase. And there are a lot of levels of development going on. That's always interesting. And anytime you have a team where you had a good football team, you lose 21 seniors, certainly there's a lot of work to do, and that's the case for us. So it's been good to be back out on the field. This is really a special time of the year for the coaching staff. I think it's quality teaching time. We're not in a rush. We practice over the course of 5 weeks to get a lot of quality time on the field, quality time in meetings without having a game plan, those types of things. So from that standpoint, it's been really beneficial. It's a chance for our players to learn the system better, understand some situations, certainly work on their fundamentals and skills. You can't do that sitting in a meeting room, even with virtual reality. It still isn't the same. And then also the development of teamwork and leadership, and those things are ongoing. So that's been the emphasis the last 5 weeks. It's not real glamorous. It's not like a bowl game where you get prizes or gifts or get to stay in a hotel and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of just day after day hard work. And I think our guys overall did a pretty good job. Typically improvements not real dramatic, but I think certainly we saw guys make gains. And sometimes you wonder about. I took our depth chart yesterday and just looked at it and considered where a lot of our players were August as to where they are now. And there's a lot of growth and improvement. And again, that's going to be critical. We've got a lot more to go if we're going to develop into a good football team. So we'll finish up here. We've got 2 weeks of class left. We've got finals. Guys will focus on their academics, continue to train and get ready till May break, and then we'll get back going here on the 6th of June. So overall, just pleased with the effort. The attitude of the team's been good. They're doing a lot of good things, day to day. But then certainly, as today was reflective, we've got a lot of work to do, a lot of things to clean up. If this were a game situation, just count the penalties, the turnovers, some bad decisions being made out there, and those would be great teaching examples for our guys. And we've got a lot of room for improvement, certainly, and a lot of room for people to step up, continue to step up. So, again, just overall pleased, but it's clear that we have a lot of work to do in the weeks and months ahead. I'll go ahead and throw it out for questions.
Kirk, with Ryan Boyle, was that him being a wide receiver? Is that a case of that Drew Cook had passed him, or was it simply we need to find a way to get this kid on the field?
It's more the latter, quite frankly. And I know Greg mentioned the other day we were toying with him on special teams. And then actually the last 2 days and today he jumped in there and did a little receiver work. And I think we're pretty well set with our 1 and 2 right now. So, it made sense. That's kind of what initiated the thoughts on special teams. Ryan's a good football player and a good athlete and a tough competitive guy. So our special teams are going to have to be, improved, and we've got work to do there as well. Thought that'd be an opportunity, and I think he kind of liked the idea of maybe catching a couple balls. So if it does happen, it's not a permanent move necessarily. It's just a chance to maybe get him on the field and also fortify our team. And I go back to when I was at Pitt in 1980. Rick Tricano actually was a starting quarterback in '79. Marino came in when Rick got hurt. Marino. So it just, kind of took off, and Rick actually ended up being our starting free safety the next year. Tricano was a free safety, and then Marino got hurt about week 7, and Tricano went back over to quarterback. So if you got a good player, we're going to try to get him on the field.
How many people in practice swallowed their tongues when CJ hit the deck?
It got quiet. Yeah, it got quiet. And it's, just one of those deals. So, the good news is it's a bruise, and he'll be fine. And on one hand, it really presented a nice opportunity. It's good for Tyler to have to go out there and operate today as a starting quarterback. He'll learn from that. And I go back to my first spring game when Robert Gallery went that way, when everybody else went this way. He was still a tight end back then. But, it's not 70,000 people, but still it's different. So it's a really good exercise for Tyler to go through.
Nerve-wracking though, when you see.
Anytime a player's down, it doesn't matter who it is. It's it's the downside of coaching, quite frankly, for football.
How did Cook look to you today?
He did some good things. He did some good things, and made some bad decisions, but made some good ones too, and showed some signs. So, he's a really intriguing guy from the first time we saw him, which I think was after his 10th grade year, when he was a really skinny kid, and he just keeps growing, and has a lot of upside. So we really like him.
Sean Nelson wasn't in today. Was he withheld for injury or just caution?
He's got a sore ankle, and the good news this spring, the injuries that we did have were of that nature. We've had a couple ankles. Matt Nelson missed a period there. Can't remember if he practiced in Des Moines or not, but it was right around there. We've had a couple guys out with ankles, things like that. So, you hate for injuries of any type, but when there are things like that, that's good news, I guess, in some ways.
Kirk Michael Ojemudia has flashed a few times. Is that how he's been this spring?
He's done a nice job, and he's had opportunity, certainly with Greg not being out there, so he's got a lot of opportunity to play, and he's one of those guys that Phil kind of had his eye on. We offered him somewhere in mid-January, I guess, when he came out of high school, and did some really good things last year on the scout team and just in developmental work. So, we're curious to see how he continues to grow and develop it. I thought he did some good things today, and certainly has done some good things throughout the spring.
Overall, defensively, and you looking now the spring's over, are the guys where they need to be?
We're never where we need to be, and especially in the springtime. It's just we got a lot of things that we can do better, but the offense isn't really fully clicking either typically. So it's just kind of an interesting matchup. That's the way spring practice is. It always has been. But you see some progress being made. Needless to say, an area of attention is our defensive end position, especially with Drew not coming back. So I think we saw some good growth with all four guys that worked with the two deep there, both Nelsons. I think Parker really took some strides, made some strides this spring, and Sam Brinks did a good job too. So, there's some potential there, and see growth. So, that's kind of, you're looking more at segments than you are maybe necessarily the collective effort.
With Boyle, he was pretty adamant about coming here playing quarterback. What was his reaction to shift him over there?
I think he wants to get on the field. I don't want to speak for him. It's something you could ask him, but I think he just wants to get on the field and compete. And that's one thing that jumped out about him when you watched him as a high school player. He's just a tough, competitive guy, and players like that it's just good to have those guys on your football team. So I think he may keep fooling around with this, and we'll see where it goes. And we certainly have there are openings on the receiver position as well. So if he can help us, make a contribution there, that'd be a great thing.
Is it easier making that move knowing you have another quarterback in the class, or is it unrelated?
Hopefully it's unrelated. Hopefully we don't get that. If you get to your third guy, it's going to be an exciting venture no matter what happens. It's really good or it's really bad, one of those two scenarios. So, our focus typically is on our first two guys, and then, you keep developing the guys underneath. But again, if a guy has eligibility and has a chance to help in other areas, that we're definitely open to it if the player's open to it.
Your weak side linebacker spot is pretty interesting. I think you're going to have three really good players there potentially. How do you see that shaping out? It looks like Aaron took some strides, made some strides.
Yeah, we talked about the defensive ends, and that's a good point. And we actually got a lot of opportunity for work because Ben wasn't practicing either. So, we've seen Ben and Josie play in game situations now. Great opportunity for Aaron. And, Aaron, I talk about guys making progress from August. If you go back to last spring, night and day, just night and day. And same thing academically. Like, he's really, getting into a groove academically right now. It's not an effort for him. He's really got a routine down, I think, that's beneficial. And we're seeing the same thing in football. He's not there yet by any stretch, but you look at the way Anthony Hitchens played in 12 and then the jump he made to 13. So we're hoping it doesn't take till Aaron's senior year, but seeing some really good things there. I thought Bo Bauer had a really good spring, and Jack Hockaday did a good job too. So those would be the first three guys in the conversation beyond Ben and Josie.